If you're a tea lover like me, the one thing you must do in Kenya is check out Gotura tea farms. Gotura Greens is a Kenyan family-owned tea farm that I'm heading to that is about an hour outside of Nairobi. I decided to go with two women I had met from a Facebook group. I am traveling solo if you're not aware of that. And if you want to see more travel vlogs on my solo travel adventures, make sure you hit that subscribe button and notification bell so you won't miss a video when I drop one. This day was so amazing. It was full of laughter, learning, and most important, beauty. Everything was so beautiful here. Make sure you watch to the end so you can see our hike to the waterfall, our tea tasting, and just to learn more about the Kenyan tea history. This estate is breathtaking. It's so beautiful and colorful. I thought about my grandmother a lot while I was here because she loved gardening. Kathy was an amazing host, and she was explaining to us that this is an ancestral land and that her family has over 100 acres to make their tea brewing business a success. So take a look around for yourself.
America are the three continents that we export to. Retail wise, we literally just sell it online. So Greenspoon, which is like an artisan store, so we sell it on Greenspoon. We're getting into Healthy You in 2023, and then we sell it on our own website. Yeah. So you'll 4,000 types of teas, all different because of how you manipulate the tea. So some of them will go through full fermentation, partial fermentation, some of them will go through filtering, some of them will only be exposed to the sun for drying. So it's basically how you manipulate the teas that makes a different taste profile. And like you asked, we grow our tea at 1,800 meters above sea level, so very high altitude. And because it's such a high altitude, there are no pests basically, and so we don't need to use pesticides on our tea farm, which is the advantage of maybe somewhere like here as opposed to China, where you can grow it at sea level, but then you're exposed to a lot of pests, and so you have to pump it with pesticides. It'll still produce tea, you just have to pump it with pesticides for it not. This is how we pick tea typically. So it's 2 leaves and a bud, okay? And how the taste profile and also the concentration of nutrients happens is at the very tip is the best quality of tea. And tea, unlike wine, even though I'm not too sure with wine, because wine ages and it's better, and so does tea after it's processed. But when you're picking it, I'm not too sure about grapes, but for tea, the younger it is, the better quality of tea it is. Oh yeah? So with tea, it smells like tea. And they typically things like the things that will have like vegetables, all the places they don't have tea. Sometimes this is because it's quite young, and sometimes you'll see it budding completely like this one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So this one was quite hidden, and this one is just nice and budding. So this is typically what I would like you to pick.
We enjoyed every minute of picking tea out here. Not only was it beautiful, but it was very peaceful. We learned so much, such as Lipton and other big tea companies, they sometimes get their tea directly from Kenya from tea auctions. And Kathy explained to us how tea auctions work.
ATDA will set a price, right, for their own tea. And bigger farms will typically set a price on their own tea, and then they take it to Mombasa to the auction. So the auction is free trade, right? So you set your price, and then basically people bid and bid and bid, and then it's all, I guess, synced into one price. And so that's how, so Lipton will probably come and KTDA will say, we're selling our tea at $4 and they'll say they're buying at 3.2. And so there'll be a whole lot of negotiation, and whoever will agree at 3.2, which typically will always come down to, because you want to sell your tea, and tea is very immediately, it's very quick to without. And so because of that rush, people will typically concede and be like, all right, let's sell it at 3.5 maybe. And if they agree to that, that's how it goes.
And so they're getting this large amount of tea, and then they ship it to their own company, manufacturing company, and bag it.
Not even. So they'll typically bag it in Mombasa, or they'll ship it to their own warehouse somewhere in Kenya and bag it and then take it out. So it depends. So some of them will actually just take it in containers and then they'll pack it abroad, or some of them will just blend it here with whatever other tea. Okay. I don't think I'll pull it no further than this. We gonna see.
So how was it going all the way down there?
Going down was a little slippery and wet, but I found me a handy dandy stick to ground myself. Coming up the other way was much more dry, so that made it a little easier, but it felt good.
Okay.
It feels like, you know, you're with the tea and they're talking to you, so it was good.
We are picking our own tea, and we're going to take this back to the house and go through the process of making proper tea, and you will see all of that. So I'm out of breath because I just climbed down and picked some tea leaves, but the main thing is you want to make sure you're picking with a bud and like a leaf, and the best tea is at the top, as you heard our lovely tea tour owner tell us. So we're going to make our way back to the house and you'll see the whole process. Tanae was truly enjoying every moment of this day at the tea farm. She was connecting with nature, so much so that she decided to walk back to the house instead of riding in the car with us. You want to ride?
Let's go, it's far.
I'll meet you there.
Okay.
It's okay.
All right. We made it back to the beautiful estate, and we are about to watch Kathy walk us through the process of making tea. We are going to dump all our tea that we collected from the farm, and we are going to see what happens next. What part of the process is this?
So this is the withering point.
Withering.
Where we are trying to reduce the moisture content in the tea leaf, and we're also trying to stop fermentation from happening. So this is the first stage where you stop the fermentation so it doesn't have any caffeine. So fermentation is basically what causes or what creates caffeine. And so because we're trying to make it caffeine free, this is the first stage.
She made it. She found us.
I'm back.
Now she's going to put her own tea leaves in for withering.
Don't put that one.
Let me make sure a little at a time so we can see.
There we go.
There we go. Man, I'll throw some hot sauce on there, some peppers.
It's a little step production, right? And that's what we simulated now here. So this is a very traditional way that Chinese people make their tea. It's called panning. So they'll have tea parties and they'll basically make their own tea this way, right? And so the form, and it's not fermented, and so it's a lot healthier. Some people, like China, produces purple black tea. And so tea is how you manipulate it that gives it a name. And so black tea basically goes through full fermentation. And this is why it's called black tea, and this is why it has a golden hue. And so you can make this from purple as well. But we just choose to do it this way. Really? I'm trying to make it not burn because the heat is quite hot. And it's not one of those that I can control. Yeah.
Already, and then
You just put it in a bowl and you just do like is this clockwise? It is clockwise, right? Yes. So you just do like light clockwise movements, don't put too much pressure so you don't crush it. Because if you crush it, when you break the leaf or the stalk, it becomes more bitter. So we're trying to create the smoothest tea we can. And so at the factory, obviously, the pressure is controlled because it's a machine. But because we're doing it by hand, we have to control our pressure and just do like nice movements like that until we get a nice rolled shape. Once we're happy with the shape that we have, we'll just return it back to the... You will leave me drying it because it takes a while you go to the waterfall. By the time you come back, I'll have your tea ready.
The sun is nice and hot.
Yes. Yeah, so maybe I'll dry it just like 75% and then I can put the rest on this thing. I need to remember what this is called.
So we're not trying to squeeze all the water out.
No,
I
no.
believe
We're not trying to do that. And because when you do that, then you're putting too much pressure and it will break the leaf more.
Okay.
So, no, we're basically just trying to get the enzymes to the surface of the leaf and hopefully fix it when we're drying it, and then it'll infuse. So we're just bringing all the good stuff of the tea to the surface to infuse better in our tea or steep better. You're good? Yeah, well done. And you just have to like keep maybe doing that with your...
Peppermint, 100% peppermint isn't really tea.
No,
It's just
the
a plant.
peppermint is
It's
just
just
a
a
plant.
plant
Yeah.
that they put in water.
Yes,
we say
exactly.
tea because who
been
knows
my
the ins and
favorite
outs?
tea.
No one knows.
It's not real tea. It's not, I'm not
But
really been drinking tea
though
all this time.
is a plant.
Yes, it's a plant, but not a tea. But we just say
We just
tea
said-
because you steep it.
And why is it not a tea? Because of what's the word that you said?
Camellia sinensis. That's the scientific term for that plant.
Okay. I'm gonna let you say it. So you're rolling it so it can look like so it can look more circular, or
Let me say it's not more for the aesthetics or how it looks, but it's more to bring the enzymes to the surface of the leaf so it infuses better. And you'll be able to get what you're trying to get from the tea by steeping it better. So that's why we're rolling it. We're just breaking the leaf surface and the stalk to bring it to the surface.
okay.
Yeah. And that's why it gets stickier.
I don't want to do anymore.
When you keep
I know,
rolling
it's
it.
hard work. Nobody got time. Right?
Now what are you doing?
I am infusing the tea that we're going to have at the tea ceremony. So all these are different types of tea that I have to put hot water in. They'll steep for about 2 to 3 minutes. And then after that, we're going to have some tea to taste.
I'm the cat lady wherever I go. This cat just came up on me. It walked away once I pulled my phone out. But it looks like my cat, Big Mama.
Even at 3 in the morning, but we're just friends always.
So we shall start with black tea. You can pick about 2 minutes. If you like your tea punchier or stronger, especially coffee drinkers, steep it up to 5 minutes or 6 minutes. And you can also adjust it by putting more leaves, if you like, to make it punchier. So we usually make a very light, at the tasting we make a very light infusion, just because most people, our soil profile, like I said, is volcanic, and so our tea can tend to be bitter. And so we'll try to put less leaves, steep it for a shorter period of time, and use water that is not at boiling temperature, just to make it more palatable. Yeah, purple tips.
Purple
So now
tips.
we've moved to the purple bush, and we're only doing the tip of the purple bush. So like I said, that is the one that has it's more to be a lot smoother, it's more fragrant. Like if you smell it, it just has a sweeter tone. And the polyphenols and the antioxidants are usually concentrated at the tip. And so it's slow releasing. It's such a nice, delicate tea. I really
I am loving this tour today. It's so peaceful. I'm with 2 women I literally just met. One this morning and the one yesterday when I did hot yoga. So that's the joys of traveling solo. Putting myself out there, meeting people in Facebook groups, and this whole acreage, or I don't even know what you want to call it, this estate that this home is on. It's ancestral land, and it's look behind me. It's beautiful. In all the land over here, this is ancestral land that Catherine, our tour guide and the owner of this home, was telling us about. So yeah, I can't wait to go on our next stop. I am going to go to the washroom, and I'll see y'all in a minute. This hike is so pretty. It's so much green, and we are headed to the waterfall. But I've never seen this much green in my life. Look how big these bamboo trees are. I would have never expected to see bamboo trees in Kenya. We just enjoy every minute of this hike to the waterfall. It's so peaceful and beautiful. Just listen.
I'ma buy a mansion for my mama when I finally make it. Take all my vacations to Bahamas, always celebrating. Ever since my birthday was the bomb, and now I'm detonating. No, you can't relate, you just can't relate. Every day I wake up like a boss, and I be thanking Jesus. Fakers trying to get up in my circle, I don't really need them. We been saying we
Unfortunately, I did not bring my swimming suit, so I did not enjoy this ice cold waterfall with Tanae. She did bring her swimming suit, and I'm so thankful for her for posting in the Facebook group about this tea farm, because I was interested in going to one while I was in Kenya, and right when I was doing the research, I saw her post. She enjoyed every minute of this day, even the ice cold water that she is trying to step into right now, but we just enjoyed our time together.
now we really mean it. We about that action, acting bad shit when you see us. Yeah.
That hike coming back was a little bit tougher than going, I guess because I had sat and rested, but we came back to a very delicious lunch. I was starving by then, so I did not get a chance to fully vlog it, but just know the setup and everything was so beautiful. I had the best cinnamon roll ever, and I'm so full right now, but I just got to get another one. I love bread. It's like fresh dough. And this is how cinnamon rolls are supposed to be. Not with all that icing. Like this, just take a look. Now you may be saying, where is the icing? You don't need the icing. I'm gonna just take a little piece of this. This perfection is so good. I'm gonna regret this later. I forgot to mention we also had ice cold tea with our lunch, and I also wanted to let you know my favorite tea that I tasted, which was the hibiscus. So I stopped recording when we were doing the tea tasting just because I was enjoying myself and I like to be in the moment. The tea that we handpicked earlier today on the tour and came back, and you saw the process of getting it ready to whatever those big words Catherine was saying. This is the final product. We get a takeaway of the tea that we handpicked. So I'll be trying this later on this evening. Let me know what you thought of the tour in the comments, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.